Former EastEnders star Danny Dyer absolutely slammed the soap earlier this month, firing off a whole load of his customary expletives about the state of the storylines and the scripts. The actor let loose at a charity event, telling the audience, "You've got to sell this beep, and a lot of it is beep." You're like, what the beep is this? Does he have a point, though? Is it just a load of total beep? Have soap plots gone right down the beep? And can they compete with the glory days when 20 to 30 million people used to tune in for every episode? Now they're really lucky if they manage 2 to 3 million viewers. Well, let's start with you, because this is your actual life. And you were in EastEnders for how many years?
I went in for 6 months and I stayed for almost 7 years.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So can you see where Danny Dyer's coming from?
Yes. I mean, look, I started off in theatre. Then I did radio. Then all kinds of things happened. And then I ended up in a soap.
Yeah.
And the timing of it couldn't be better because I wanted a job that was kind of stationary. I could have my kids while I did the job. And I learned more doing that job than I did in any other genre. It is really, really, really hard work. It's very, very tough. And there's a lot of information you've got to deliver and this and that. But the reason I left was because the storylines were getting ridiculous.
Is that true?
That was one of the reasons I left. There were several, but that was one of the main reasons. It was, my husband Masood was going to have yet another affair. And I was like, how can I react any differently to the way I reacted before when he told me he was having an affair? So, yeah, it can get frustrating, but I do feel that soaps, there's no such thing as being a soap actor. You're an actor or you're not. And I think when you're classified as a soap actor, people seem to look down on you. But actually, it's one of the hardest jobs you will ever do.
Completely.
At my peak, honestly, peak of our storylines, I was averaging 150 pages of lines a week.
Wow.
Now, that's a lot. And then you have not much time. You normally do 1 take, at the most 2, and you churn it out. But yes, when the storylines get so ridiculous and so difficult, you kind of think, I'm out. And that's what I wanted to come out of it for a while. Hopefully, at some point, if they invite me back, it'll be for something a bit more interesting to do.
And your character's still alive. I mean,
she's still alive. They wouldn't kill her off. I did ask to be killed off because I thought, yay, I'll get a big storyline if I get killed off. But they were like, no, we want her back someday. So who knows?
and are you watching soaps still?
I don't. I used to watch them, and I was going to say, like, the storylines have always been ridiculous. Like, people when I was watching it when I was a teenager, they died, and then all of a sudden they could come back. So it wouldn't have mattered if you'd have died. You could have come back. But I do think that there has been such important storylines that soaps have brought into our living rooms, grooming storylines that maybe parents wouldn't have known so much about grooming gangs, and they watch it, and then it's bringing these conversations into living rooms. The first ever gay scene on telly was with Gary Lucy on Hollyoaks, which is so important. So I do think there's room, and even though the viewers have dropped, you've got to remember they've dropped because of streaming services and things like that, not because people aren't as interested. It's just that their world's got more interested in us in what we can watch and how we can watch it. So I do feel like there is a place, and I think Danny Dyer always says things in a really harsh way, and I think, as you say, it makes it sound like, the actors are not getting the credit that they deserve, when actually there really is still place for it. But they've always had ridiculous storylines, and I suppose sometimes watching this is a good escape from reality.
But Cosmo, they used to be a place in soaps for humour. Gentle humour. Think of, Julie Goodyear as Bet Lynch, and, that whole kind of rich vein of Coronation Street, which was not a murder or domestic abuse or drug addiction, but just kind of like funny conversations with Minnie Caldwell in the Snug, And I wonder whether there's no room for that anymore.
Well, soaps, what they did was they presented ordinary life in a way that TV had completely ignored. But what has happened over the last 20 years is the kind of reality TV has become the source of ordinary life. And in the old days, I always knew what was going on in EastEnders because people were always talking about what happened at EastEnders. Yeah. And it stopped. It was all what was happening on Love Island. That became the focus of our attention. I think it's kind of a shame, but it's inevitable, I think.
You think so?
What I do feel it very, very strongly about is the fact that when, for example, with EastEnders, I was brought in as... I think the brief was Pauline Fowler, but funny. So they wanted EastEnders to have some kind of levity in it. Yeah. And for the first 2 years, I was given free rein to do that. It was great fun. And then they gave me a domestic violence storyline. And he thought, how can I be funny with that storyline? I don't understand. And I think that's what happens is when you have a change at the top with the execs, they bring in their vision, and all of a sudden, as someone who hasn't really been paying attention to what your character's been doing, all of a sudden you're asked to do something absolutely ridiculous. And I wish that they could just have that kind of line through and really listen to the actors who know our characters. You'd get better storylines.
Gosh, it's like that wonderful film, The Killing of Sister George. It's also
Yes.
a play, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where they kill off this beloved character. But in the film and play, you see that she's nothing like a real character at all. In real life, she's an absolute shocker, isn't she? Playing this beloved nurse. And all the actors pleading for their characters. It's
Yes.
like that. Don't
Yeah.
make my character do this.
Yeah.
My character would never do this. Oh, don't kill me, for God's sake. I mean, it's a big deal, isn't it? Let's go to Linda, who's on the line in Dorset. Linda, you're not that keen anymore on soaps.
No. Hello, Vanessa. Just
Hi.
want to say, love your show.
Oh, thanks.
I quite agree with what Danny Dyer, he's right in what he says. The figures are dropping. The storylines are terrible in all the soaps. It's either murder, grooming, colour prejudice, fighting and youth. Yet we want to hear, we want to see these stories, but not thrown it in our face constantly. There's no more fun or any enjoyment at all. You wonder why all the big stars are leaving. And I quite agree with what Nadia says, and I don't agree with what Nicola says.
Yeah.
They need to bring back some fun. I know quite a few people that have stopped watching the soaps. We need to bring back the likes of Stan and Hilda, Jack and Vera, Maureen and Reg. We need to have a bit of fun. The way the world is now, we get fed up with it in real life. Let's have a little bit of fun on the TV. And I honestly don't think that these soaps will be going for as long as what they've been going. And I think the people that made them big, they must be looking down thinking, what the hell are they doing to our soaps?
Well, thank you very much, Linda. Wow. Let's talk to Julie in Lincolnshire about it. Julie, what do you think?
Well, I used to be an avid soap watcher. I've now virtually stopped because I get fed up of every young girl sleeping around with everyone. You can commit so many murders and not get found guilty for it. And I think the ultimate one is everybody's answer to everything is to pick up a bottle and drink themselves stupid. And it's not a very good, way to portray life to the youngsters.
But actually, the drinking part's always been pretty pivotal, hasn't it? There's always been the central pub, Queen Vic,
because
the
things
Wall
revolve
Pub.
around that.
It's the fact now everybody just picks up a bottle at home, and has a large glass of everything. And
That's what everyone does.
Nicola thinks that's just normal life.
Ridiculous.
Nicola thinks it's just, if you took the camera to her house, you'd see exactly that behaviour, Julie, this evening probably, she
Things
says.
got stressful, I'd have a large glass of wine.
So do you think, Julie, that it's just much...
I have stress in my life, but I've never turned to the bottle.
Right, okay. And so are you saying it's not fun anymore? You're not you can't get transported
No,
or escape?
it's not fun. I'm all in favour of the characters with the likes of Hilda and Stan and people like that being brought back in because, it was light-hearted and it just took you away for half an hour at a time. Mm-hmm. I just think the storylines are just getting absolutely ridiculous now.
Julie, thanks so much. Let's go to Paul in Berkshire. Paul, you know about this because you used to be a soap actor to some extent.
Yeah, I've pretty much been in all the soaps except Emmerdale, and I was there back in the day when it was Jack and Vera, all the lovely people that people were talking about there. So there were characters, proper characters, and believe me, Vanessa, when you left the set, I was only bit parting, doing delivering babies on various soaps and stuff, which was lots of fun. But they were just so lovely. Everyone was so friendly and nice. And I have been back and done a little bit sort of more closer to this time, and they're not as friendly. And they're, there's a lot of it's changed. And what I see from soaps now when I watch is that, shows like Coronation Street back in the day were brilliant. There's characters, but there was good plot, and you turned in to see what your favourite characters were doing, not these ridiculous, crazy plots that were going. But I am a big Emmerdale fan. I do love a bit of Emmerdale, but even that can go a bit sensational sometimes. But these actors work very hard, and I know the guys there were saying the same thing. People don't realise, and I think a lot of people just sort of, it's only a soap. Oh, I wouldn't want to be in a soap, and that's so wrong because there's some of the best actors at the moment that are in soap.
I mean, let's bring Nina in on this. I mean, it's very demanding.
It is. It's hugely demanding, and you learn from the older actors. You really do. You kind of watch how they do things. But I think that's kind of gone away. That's gone away a lot. I know that there's reality, like you were saying, that everyone loves reality TV right now, and a lot of reality TV actors want to get into soaps. It seems to be their springboard into going in. And you're like, well, actually, Why don't you train as an actor first? Why don't you actually learn how to do it? It's a craft at the end of the day. You know, I think people forget that. They just think, oh, well, let's just get anyone in and just give them some lines. It doesn't work that way. And soaps are such a good training ground for people. And that's what they should be there for.
Absolutely. Let's bring in Joyce in London. Hello, Joyce. You're not finding soaps much fun these days?
Well, no, I agree with everybody that's been on at the moment. I mean, Emmerdale's got, murder, terrible. I'm deciding whether to stop watching it. It makes me so depressed. And even my sister's the same, you know. And I've been watching Coronation Street since it started. And I mean, what happened to people like Elsie Tanner and that, you know, Jack and Vera?
I used to love Elsie Tanner.
You know, yeah,
Elsie Tanner. I mean, Pat Phoenix. Joyce, what about Pat Phoenix as an actress? What a great actress she was, because the vulnerability of that character, and she was meant to be hard as nails, and she was no better than she should be. And yet we really felt for her and rooted for her and warmed her. And she was so glamorous in that very special, kind of specially northern kind of, she was absolutely wonderful. One of the best actresses I really think I've ever seen in my life. Let's, Joyce, thank you so much. Now, I've got a little quiz here for you, panel. It's a little soaps quiz. So this is the most famous soap plots of all time. And I want to see if you can guess what they are. So this is the first one. What is going on there?
Well, that's got to be Coronation Street, because I don't recognise it at all.
It's not Coronation Street.
Honestly, I got that wrong already.
It's not Coronation Street. It is rural.
Emmerdale?
Yeah, it's Emmerdale. If I say the plane crash,
right.
1993, the Emmerdale plane crash. Let's have a look at that.
Have you packed your sunblock, Ma?
Yes, don't worry. What's that? Look out!
All right, now what is this one here?
I mean, it's Coronation Street.
Yes.
Christmas party?
Yes. Christmas Day.
Yes.
Someone found out someone was
Actually
having an affair.
incredibly sad when it happened. I remember actually crying. I mean it. Yeah. And loads of people cried. Everyone cried.
Who passed away in that one?
No, it's Leaving.
Leaving.
This is Hilda Ogden leaving Coronation Street. Let's have a look at that. And you know how many people watched that? 27 million people.
Wow, that's so
All
special.
of them dabbing at the corner of their eye with a handkerchief because it was so moving. All right, how about this one? What's going on
Dirty
here?
Den and Ange.
Dirty Den and Ange. What do we think is going on here?
Divorce.
Yes, it's not looking good, is it? Not looking good at all. But we loved this, didn't we? There was something about it. What was it that we liked so much about it?
The chemistry. When you have actors who have real chemistry and they know exactly how the other person works, it just comes through the screen at you into your living room, and that was beautiful. That's a masterclass in acting.
Let's have a quick look at this so we can see the chemistry for ourselves.
This, my sweet, is a letter from my solicitor telling you that your husband has filed a petition for divorce. It also tells you to get yourself a solicitor pretty damn quick. Happy Christmas, Anne.
Happy Christmas.
So that was 1986.
Wow.
And that was 30 million views.
Yeah.
Absolutely astounding. Let's go to Helen. She's on the line in Tyne and Wear. Helen, you're not loving the soaps at the moment either.
No, I think all those lost the plot, Vanessa. The simple reason is you've got a train crash, maybe from one of the soap, a car crash in another soap, and something else in another soap. So they keep following each other. There's no spontaneous anymore. Like everybody says, it's not the same. Everybody has got their own opinion, I know, but I never watch them anymore, and I used to watch them religiously, but not anymore.
All right, Helen, thank you. Let's go to Beryl in Lancashire. Beryl, you feel the same. You can't relate anymore.
No, I feel exactly the same. Yeah. In fact, you know, the people who've spoken before reflect exactly what I feel. At one time, back in the day, these soaps reflected real life. We could relate to them. They were reasonably sensible. Now they have just gone over the top completely. We've got mass murders, the comedy's gone, the characters have gone. There's no real life in them anymore that we can relate to. All these long-lost relatives keep showing up, which they don't in real life.
Thank God they don't. Who wants them? Stay away. We don't want them showing up. God, that'd be awful. So, I mean, Beryl, thank you very much. It's amazing everybody really seems to say exactly the same thing.
Absolutely, yeah. No, let me back in. Bring the comedy back in. Let's do it.
Bring the laughs back in. That's what we want, isn't it?